I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet, vying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. And greetings out there all across this great land and around the world. It's that time, once again, time for the Conservative Syndicate, coming to you live, coast to coast and around the world. We're glad to have you with us today, and hope you enjoy what we have set up for you today. We got a full docket for you today. Two of our contributors, plus all the other good stuff that's going on out there. So, anyway, glad to have you with us. And, just feeling, I've got pre-jet lag here, getting ready to hop on a plane as soon as we get off the air tonight. And, just preparing for everything that's going on out there. And I've got to, I don't know. I'm just rambling here right now. Like I said, pre-jet lag. Just trying to think of all the things I got to get done here. And make sure I got everything done I was supposed to get done before I leave. And turn the whole show over to Joe for the next week and a half. And I'm sure. Of course, I don't really have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about that at all. Joe has done a great job in the past of running the show all by himself. And, he's more than up to the task, so I know I leave it in good hands. So,
well, that was my Dr. Evil laugh.
Well, yeah. So anyway, glad to have you with us today. And I'm sitting here trying to log into my speaker. There we go. It was my error. I changed the password this morning and I forgot to change it on the encoder. So if you were sitting out there in dead airspace out there in our speaker account, you should be hearing us now. So there we go. All right.
Be not floating in space anymore. You should have somewhere to be now, like listening to us ramble on.
Well, I'm certainly hope. It would be a great honor, in my opinion, if we had more people that disagree with us listening to the show than we do agree. There's a certain satisfaction in preaching to the choir, but the real satisfaction is pissing off the opponents. That's really what we're all about, folks. Yes, we're about disunity. We're about divide and conquer. Yes, we are.
It's really not difficult to do, John.
No, it's not. You don't have to do. I mean, it's just who is it? Rob Schneider. You know who Rob Schneider is, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of like one of the B level. What do they call it? What do they call those things? Be
kind. I know who he is.
Well, when you B list actor has been in some really overrated comedies, and plus being part of Saturday Night Live. And I guess he tweeted something out there about John Lewis, and boy, his Hollywood comrades are just all over his case. It's
Did he support Trump in a little bit?
No, I don't think he did support Trump. I think what he was basically saying was that, Lewis really, he basically concurred with what Trump said. Lewis needs to focus more on history. Let's get a little history here. And, everybody, well, who are you to be telling John Lewis about history? The guy that played Deuce Bigelow.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, What a horrible man.
Yeah, well, then I got a great answer for that. Why do you guys listen to Will Ferrell? If we're gonna talk about B-level actors here, and people that are irrelevant outside of their humor resume, then why is Will Ferrell get so much stock in the liberal community? He's no better than Rob Schneider, or David Spade, or Adam Sandler, by the way, is a Trump supporter. Okay, so I don't know. It's amazing, and having along that line here, I wanted to just do my thing here. When Megyn Kelly left Fox News,
Megyn who?
Megyn Kelly, Rachel Madcow Kelly. When she left Fox News, I think I'd said it several times in the show that Rachel Madcow was going to have a problem because now she was going to have to deal with a heterosexual feminist rather than a lesbian feminist. And it turns out that, no, maybe Rachel Madcow doesn't have that much to worry about because the ratings are in. And Megyn Kelly's show over there on CNBC doesn't even beat Chris Matthews' rating. Now, Chris Matthews, with both of his watchers, both of his viewers, and it turns out that Rachel Madcow, I guess last week in the 9 p.m. time slot, about an average of 2,500 viewers. Let's see, I don't know how they do this. 2,506. I guess that's an average. I don't know what it means. Percentage, I'm sorry, 2.56% of the audience listening at that time. I guess that's what it means. And Megyn Kelly's at 1.7%, right down there with Chris Matthews. Oh, no. Let's see here. Where is it? Megyn Kelly. Oh, I guess okay, I see. She took the Brian Williams, Chris Matthews slot. And she just didn't do well at all. She's down at the bottom. The only person that she's doing better than is, let's see here, a couple of the shows that don't even have a host. They're like just generic news shows. So that move from Fox News, of course, Megyn Kelly, she now fits the Democratic template. Overpaid, under-talented. $20 million contract to sit on the bench. That's really what it comes down to. The number one show on Fox News right now is Sean Hannity. And, Bill O'Reilly with Sean Hannity coming in second, okay? Brett Baier third. But anyway, the point I wanted to make, I just want to take another shot at Megyn Kelly. She thought that all these people were going to follow her over from Fox News. I guess not. What they're actually saying is that people are tuning into something else during her news hour and then flipping back over to Sean Hannity when he comes on. By the way, when he comes on and still beating Megyn Kelly is the replay of his earlier show. They play Hannity twice on Fox News. They play him at the 10 o'clock Eastern spot, and then they play him after that. And she can't even beat that. She can't even beat the reruns. Okay, so just thought I'd let you know. And another little piece of news here I think worth mentioning. Al Sharpton over the weekend went to a church in Baltimore, the Douglas Memorial Community Church, to spread his message of hate and discontent.
Oh, I thought he was going to preach. He is reverend,
Yeah, he went to church to preach about Trump. And what happened was some of the congregants in the church, and this is becoming more and more common now, they stood up, some of them stood up and actually asked him, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" A gentleman by the name of Dwayne G. Davis, who streamed Sharpton's appearance at the church on Facebook, streamed it on Facebook. They have a live streaming option now, Facebook Live, which, by the way, we're working with our affiliates over at Lanterns Radio to get our show streamed live video. I may have to actually go out and get a webcam.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm a firm believer there's no ugly people on radio. So, and I am not photogenic, not in any way, shape, or form. So, anyway, Mr. Davis over there at the church said that people like Sharpton only come to exploit tragedies and collect money, and he wanted to know how much Sharpton was getting paid to be there. They also asked him about Freddie Gray, and Sharpton basically told him that wasn't my problem, that was your problem. So it's indicative. Even people like the Shakedown artist, Al Sharpton, is beginning to run into a little bit of a wall out there, if we can call it that. A wall. I guess we can call it a wall, right? And so that's kind of happening too. So anyway, so we got some other stuff here, but I just thought you might want to know. Megyn Kelly is now firmly implanted at the bottom of the MSNBC ratings, underneath Chris Matthews and Rachel Maddow. And Al Sharpton got shaked down at a church that he went to shake down over the weekend. So those are the big news events in my mind, in my world. In Johnny's world, those are big events. So, anyway, we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll have Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. 866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, and we're back and we're ready to go. We're ready to kick it into gear here right at the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, and just like I said, suffering a little bit from pre-jet lag here. I'm just envisioning a 4-hour stopover at TSA in LAX tonight, followed by a 17-hour flight with a 4-hour layover in Hong Kong, and then facing customs coming into Manila, Philippines. Not my idea of the dream vacation, folks. I'm already dragging. All right. Anyway, we got Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us. How are you doing today, Audrey?
That sounds awful. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? I'd rather have pneumonia.
Oh, bing, bang, boom.
Hey, watch what you're saying there.
Yeah, don't say that. Well, walking pneumonia is fun.
Yeah, well, it's just, I am not a slender person by any definition of the word. In fact, when I sit in an airplane, I'm one of those guys that need the little seatbelt extension. And so you cram me into an economy seat between two people. And one of them, my wife, who is she is, I love my wife dearly. So I say this with all the loving kindness that I can muster up. But my loving wife is the worst patient in the world. She worked in a hospital for about 11 years. She is the worst patient in the world. She's got some health conditions that I have to deal with. That's why I'm flying with her. And it's a 17-hour trip with somebody who constantly needs something. And it's just, and I don't sleep on planes. I can't sleep. I flew for years in the Navy, and even when I was out on missions, I couldn't sleep. Something about being on a plane is like, I don't want to be asleep when it crashes, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
It's just it was something.
I'm not a fan of flying myself.
Well, it was something that was very embedded in me when I was going through training. They put you through massive training when you fly on an air crew, what to do in emergencies, and you have to basically, and essentially, what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to walk through the plane blindfolded and find anything that they tell you to find blindfolded. So you have to know how to count rungs on a plane and everything else like this. And I remember the first time I was tested, and I got up, they said, find me the number 7 oxygen bottle. There's 17 oxygen bottles on a plane. You got to find number 7. So I'm going through there, and I get the oxygen bottle, and they say, okay, you put it on. I put it on. And the guy says, now, what do you do? And I think, well, I breathe, right? And he says, well, what about your pilot? He goes, you're going to be breathing fine until you crash into the ocean because nobody's checked on the pilot.
Oh my gosh.
And so ever since then, it has been deeply ingrained in my head when I'm on an airplane, don't close your eyes.
Oh, yeah, sure. I can understand that. I would feel like that too. I don't know. I get really bad motion sickness.
Oh, do you really?
So, yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I had that little fun episode the last time. I had to take I had a lot of connections. Okay. And the first plane that I was on was like being in a cigar tube with and sitting in a folding chair. And the guy, when he was landing, I think it was in at Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
It was like being on a roller coaster. And thank God that morning I didn't eat anything, nothing, because I also forgot to take my Dramamine. So as we're landing, I go into dry heaves, and everybody in that little cigar tube could see me. They're turning around, and I can't control myself. I'm dry heaving. It was the most hard. I thought to myself, "Oh God, please." Because of course I had nothing in my stomach and nothing was going to happen, but it was horrifying. I mean, I went on for at least 5 minutes. I had no control. And when I finally stopped, this young couple next to me, just like they did it very apprehensively. They said, "Would you like some water?" I was like, "No, I'm mortified. Excuse me." How about if we just... I'm bad for that. Yeah.
How about if we just stuff a rag down your throat? Okay.
No, yeah. Well, that'll be a different kind of gagging.
Oh, so, you would have loved to fly with me. I flew pretty close to 5,000 hours during my time in military, and did some hairy flights. We landed in typhoons. Took off in typhoons. Even ditched a plane once. We ditched once out on the ocean. That was scary. We lost our navigator. But we hit a runway in Guam. They build their runways with coral over in Guam. And,
oh my God!
Yeah, and so when it's raining, we landed in a 45-degree angle by the time we finished at the end of the runway, and I'm in the back screaming over the microphone, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And the pilot just calmly says, "Hey, shut up! I just saved your life."
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Anyway, speaking of military, our favorite transvestite military member was his prison sentence was what was it? Communed? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to commuted? Yeah, he's going to be in May. He's out in May.
Yeah. So now they can set up a blind date between him and Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, I'm going to hurl.
Hey, does that mean we can stop paying for all his freaking meds for his hormones injections and everything? Is that we can actually stop paying for that?
Oh no, he's well. I don't know. Do they give him a dishonorable discharge? I thought when you got a dishonorable discharge, you wouldn't get VA benefits.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're not going to get that because less than honorable conditions. So the only reason why he's getting it now is because he's in prison.
Well, is he getting a dishonorable discharge?
Well, if he doesn't, there's something definitely. It's more wrong than the fact that he's getting released from prison.
I mean, yeah, usually if you end up in prison, I wouldn't say that was an honorable kind of condition.
Well, let's be honest. He should have been executed.
Well, okay, that'd been all right too.
Yeah. In the old days, that would have been the thing. He wouldn't be in prison.
He's a traitor.
Yeah. Him and what's his name? What are they doing with Bird Bergdahl? Is he in prison?
He'll be next.
He'll be. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I really don't. He's petitioning Obama for a pardon.
Well, 2 days at 17 hours. We'll find out, huh?
Well, yeah, we'll find out. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to pardon Clinton.
Well,
It wouldn't matter if he did because the states will prosecute her.
Yeah. Well, my thing would be he probably let this transvestite go because his parting gift to the LGBTQWXYZ community.
Yeah, LMNOP. Yeah, yeah, that's sure, and probably because it's very close to his heart. I'll leave that for your interpretation.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Hey, by the way, the Chicago bathhouse that I hang out with Rom is down in.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But look what he did here, and you have. Let's not forget that there are troops that have done the right thing and are languishing in prison right now. Referring to Leavenworth 10, right?
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, and he's not going to pardon them.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't. Joe and I were talking before the show, and I've learned one thing about Obama, and I think it's what makes him such an effective activist. Not a good one, but an effective one. There's a difference, and it's the fact that every time he does something, it serves more than one purpose. There's the cover story. This is what's going on. This is what the media tells us. But there's always little benefits or little political expedient experiments that are going on alongside of it. So you sit here and you say, okay, Why would he commute the sentence of somebody like this? Especially when you heard Josh Earnest try to give a defense as to why he won't pardon Ed Snowden. Well, because Ed Snowden hasn't gone through the judicial system. He hasn't given himself up, and that's what makes the system work. I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me you go through the judicial system to get convicted so that you can be pardoned, but it's not okay to pardon somebody to begin with when you don't even have really a reason. Well, I don't know. Snowden, I guess, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Snowden. There's one part of me that says, yeah, he violated his agreement as somebody that was employed under the cover of a security clearance. But then I also understand why he did what he did. Right. So I've always had mixed feelings about it. But the point being is, you're telling me the guy should go through the system so that then he can be commuted? Or are you telling me that the guy, or is that the cover? You want him to go through the system so that you can nail his ass because he is the one that started this whole thing that brought to light all these other things that, by the way, all the scandals in the Obama administration, by Obama's words, never happened.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This guy's a piece of work.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking that one of the greatest comments Obama gave his last interview at 60 Minutes over the weekend, that he is proud of the fact that they've never had a scandal during his administration.
That's the same thing I did. I laughed hysterically as well.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're delusional. You can believe anything you want, and there it is.
Well, I'm telling you, when he steps into that rabbit hole and goes into Obama land, I guess that's true. I don't know. It's like Alice in Wonderland stuff here. What's this guy taking when he's not?
Yeah. What is he? Well, what is he referring to as a scandal? Meaning that the media picked up on something that was wrong, and then it's a scandal, or the fact that's what he means.
I think what he means,
and that's why to him, that's the truth.
I think what he means is that he himself has not been implicated in any scandals.
Which doesn't mean that he didn't, because what he means by that is, I haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, I haven't. No, what he means by that is I haven't been caught at doing anything wrong.
Yeah. Yes, no, that's the fact. But I don't think that's what he means.
Yeah,
that's in his mind, I didn't do anything wrong.
That's like Bill Clinton. That's like Bill Clinton's confession when he got caught with Monica Lewinsky. Well, I'm really sorry that I lied. And no, you were sorry you got caught lying.
Like any other criminal. Yeah.
It's all through the perspective, all through the prism of liberal doublespeak. Benghazi, Fast and Furious, right off the top of my head. There you go. There's two scandals. The Attorney General, the corruption in the Attorney General's office, the collusion with the FBI and the CIA that we're seeing right now. We were mentioned yesterday.
Benghazi.
Yeah. Well,
Furious, IRS scandal, NSA.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, there aren't enough fingers and toes to cover it.
Well, again, what they mean by scandal in terms of those is that you've never proven anything.
Yeah, that's it. So, according to them, they're innocent because you couldn't prove it.
Yeah, you didn't prove it, so everything is a vast right-wing conspiracy. That's all it is. That's all it is. So,
it's getting old.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we're coming up here on a break here, but I wanted to get your opinion on. I think I sent you notes here.
Mm-hmm.
I think let's see here. Where did I want to go with this? Oh, let's talk briefly when we come back here. And it's not going to be a real extended conversation here because it's not really worth mentioning per se in terms of the number of people. But we've got about 30 Congress people now are saying they're not going to show up at the inauguration. I myself say, great, that's 30 spots left for somebody that wants to be there. But Joe had reported yesterday here about the Bikers for Trump showing up down there, and then there's plans for violence by some of the politically funded groups out there. Joe found a piece out there. What was it, Joe? Up to $2,500 per.
Yeah, $2,500, man. Go out and raise some cane and get paid for it. Yeah.
Become a
Who's
professional.
doing that? What group is that?
Well, we'll talk about it when we get back here because we got to go break. If we start talking about it right now, we'll be cut off short here. But I'll let Joe lead in with that article here and get your opinion on that. We've got Audrey Russo with us from Real Talk Radio. Great day here in the greatest country in the world. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right. Hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we have with us Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio doing her weekly contribution to the show. And before we get into the comedy relief portion of our program here, I want to talk about this. This big deal that the media is making about the number of Democrats that are not going to attend the Trump inauguration here. Last count, according to USA Today, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 representatives, elected officials, who have decided that unity means being unified in bringing about disunity. I guess that's the theme. It's that to resist Trump is actually an act of unity by the very people that were crying and screaming after the debate when Donald Trump said he didn't know for sure if he would accept the results of the election. And that's un-American, it's unpatriotic, it's communistic, it's socialistic, it's bad, it's evil, that kind of thing. And now all these people are joining hands.
I'm a Democrat and I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, maybe they ought to take another trip down to Selma. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah.
The list, the thing that caught my eye when I was looking at the list here from USA Today is the number of representatives from California. Every time I see stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, maybe we should split the state up. Maybe we should call it Communist California and then return, and then down here where we live, my section. In fact, you could just make my neighborhood this way, just my block, all right, the Republic of California. That's what it's supposed to. That's what we're actually called. So, anyhow, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 representatives out here in California that are not going. Most of them are in charge of either homosexual communities, and what I mean by that is the majority of people within their district are homosexuals, and of course the black community. We've got a lot of these black strongholds out here, and so it goes without saying here. You know what? I personally don't care if any of them show up. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change the results of the election. It's not going to change the views of the people that elected Trump. Right. And it's not going to change absolutely anything.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's completely stupid and asinine. I mean, let's just turn the page. Let's turn the page back here. Let's go down memory lane here. Mm-hmm. If Barack Obama had been when he was elected, if we'd had 30 members of the Republican House of Representatives and Senate say, "I'm sorry, I do not believe this is a legitimate presidency, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go."
Then let me see. The R word would be whipped out right away.
Yeah,
racist.
What would have been the outcry, Audrey? What do you think? I mean, it's not hard to imagine.
Racist. Yeah, come on, racist. That's what they say. So, you know what? We're dealing with children. That's what they are. Children. I can't get my way, and I'll stomp my foot on the ground until you change everything for me.
Yeah,
not going to happen.
Officials, these are public servants. These aren't children. These are public servants. Serve the United States government.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you're saying, but they still are acting like children. And if they are representing if the people they're representing are infantile like that, that's really disturbing.
Well, I'll tell you what I think is more disturbing to me than the fact that they're saying, I can't buy into the idea of a Trump presidency. Okay, I think the reaction and response to Trump being elected is certainly asinine and childish, but I can understand that mindset. I had the same mindset when Barack Obama, I'll be honest with you. I think I touted more than once when Barack Obama was first elected. I used to tell my wife, we're moving. I'll move to the Philippines. I know there's dictators over there, but I know what they're up to. And they'll leave us alone.
At least they're tough on drugs.
Well, see, in the Philippines is about it's a microcosm of what real democratic socialism is.
Right.
But at least, as long as you don't, it's a small enough country, and being a foreigner, the one thing I say about the Philippines is they leave foreigners alone. They don't involve us into their problems. There's entire cities over there that are just retired military people, and you hang out in a place like that, and you're pretty much left alone. Nobody messes with you. And so I was thinking, we got to escape, because this is going to turn into a real, a real pile of crap real fast, which it has done. But anyway, I think what really irritates me is that they're doing it under the cover of color. Many of them this is in support of John Lewis more than it is in opposition to Donald Trump. And I'm thinking, Joe brought it up yesterday. Somebody needs to remind John Soma that the people that fractured his skull in Soma were Democrats.
Yes. See, how do we forget that? They were Democrats. Jim Crow laws, Democrats. KKK, Democrats. So what is he? A Democrat. Does that make any sense to you? And anyway, does that guy's face have any other look but scowl?
Yeah, well, and
I mean, he is one angry dude.
Yeah, he is one. Yeah, he's got that permanent scowl on his face. It's almost like looking at a Muppet. I think somebody else, Dennis Miller, once described James Caravel as a Muppet dried on hot. And John Lewis, every time I see that face, it's like, did somebody carve that face? Because it doesn't seem like the expression ever changes.
Oh, but he almost gave his life for his vision and views and for his country. Almost died doing that.
Yeah, almost isn't good enough to die.
Yeah, Pettus Bridge. Maybe they'll rename it.
Yeah.
Well, weren't you insulted when Obama was saying he was comparing compared our those in Iwo Jima that had given their lives for, and then he talks about Stonewall. He talks about the gay bar. Come on, that they would have they were going to give their lives for what?
Oh yeah, that's a moral equivalency.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mentioned here. I expected to get beat up when I was at the Rose Parade this year because one of the floats came by, offered by some community organizing group, some kind of charity thing. I forget what they were, but it was a tribute to the 49 fallen heroes down in Orlando, Florida. And I mean, the moan that came out of my mouth, I don't know if people thought I was, having a instantaneous bowel movement right there in the middle of everything or whatever, but it was so loud. And and Lourdes, my wife, she hit me in the arm and said, "Hey," because I just went, "Oh my God, what is that?"
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that is awful. That's come on.
Any minute now,
that's because he's given that mindset out. He's still doing that, Obama.
Any minute now, I'm going to have USC fans beating me to a pulp. Yeah, but the thing with this John Lewis thing, the idea that this guy, he's like how do I put this? He's like, he is the Democratic equivalent to John McCain. Now, what do I mean by that?
Oh, you already said it.
What I mean by that is
he's untouchable.
Yeah,
Just
they're
like
untouchable.
because
Exactly.
he was in the military, and I'm not saying that anything I'm going to reserve it. I'm just saying that he served in the military, therefore, and as looked upon as a hero. Therefore, you are not allowed to. Well, it's the same thing as Obama and his supposed skin hue. Because remember, he's half white. He's half cracker. So you can't say anything because then you're a racist. You can't say anything about him because he's a hero. You can't say anything about John Lewis because he marched in Selma.
Yeah,
What is that? That's a protective a force field. Now we can't penetrate it. What, are we living in a fantasy again?
Yeah, you get elected on those credentials, and then you have a free ride for the rest of eternity.
Hells no.
That's what they expect, but that's not what they're going to get here.
No, and that's more than obvious here. And when you tie things about, first of all, people really, if people just knew how John McCain got captured, just how he got captured.
Yeah.
He got captured showboating. He was out there showboating in the plane he was flying. He lost control of it and crashed. He wasn't out on a mission. He was out showboating. This guy was Tom Cruise in Top Gun, that kind of thing. So yeah, I give him his kudos. He's a brother in arms. Yeah, we all served the military. You get that. That's an automatic. You signed the paper, you took the oath, and you did the duty. Yay, great.
He was a screw up and the son of an admiral for crying out loud. So he's allowed to screw up.
Okay, I certainly empathize with having to spend 5 or 6 years in Hanoi Hilton. I'll give you that.
But that does not now become your force field and allow you to say and do whatever you want with impunity.
Yeah, and if you enter public service as a public servant, you have given up all those rights, and you are now subject to the opinions of those who elected you. And if you can't accept that, then you shouldn't be in office. If you can't take the criticism with the praise, you shouldn't be in office.
Right.
So that's my opinion on it. Now, why do you think I don't run for office? Because one, it's a hell of a lot of work to campaign. I've been out with some of these people to campaign just on local level. I'm like, oh my goodness. They'd have to be intravenously feeding me vitamins to get through some of this stuff. I don't know how these people do this. I don't know how they can campaign constantly. I walked the circuit out here with Deborah Pauly, who ran just for a council position out here. And I was just amazed at from 6 a.m. till like 10 at night, and you're just going to event after event, and you're talking to people, and you're taking questions, and you're town halls, and you're speaking and all. And I'm like, the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, somebody get me to a hospital.
That's what makes Trump. He has incredible stamina.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, we're going to go out for dinner. You want to join us? I'm like, send me to the blood bank. Yeah. So, and I certainly have a thick skin. I mean, I wouldn't be doing the radio if I didn't, but I don't know if I would want to do that kind of thing at that level. I mean, that's insanity in my opinion, especially when half of the country doesn't appreciate what you're trying to do anyway. So, that's me. I mean, that's just me. Anyway, we got to go to our quick break here. I went over there. My fault. My bad. We got to go to commercial. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Okay, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we've got Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio. You know, I think spell check is a communist plot. And the reason I say so is because when I need it, it never works. But when I'm typing crap on the phone, it changes words to other words that I don't mean.
Well, that's different. That's autocorrect.
Well,
yeah, and it's not always correct.
That's true.
That's 6 of one and half another. Neither one does what I want it to do when I want it to do it. That's the point.
Technology, John. You shouldn't fight it.
Anyhow. Okay, we got the inauguration coming up in 2 days. I'll be in the Philippines watching this from afar, and it's going to be interesting because all the news networks in the Philippines, every single one of them are liberal outlets. Every single one of them. There is no
17 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah, there is no conservative outlets in the Philippines, and they actually have a network over here, Belly Tongue America, up in San Francisco.
Hey, John, that just thought of this. So you'll have inauguration day before we do.
Oh, yeah. I'll be up and early. In fact, I'll try to send you guys a text as to actually what's going on.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be, I'm excited about it. I'm nice and comfy here in New York, but I'm excited about all of it. I mean, of course you're going to have the nuts, and you had... You guys had sent me that article about ads in 24 cities that are offering protesters up to $2,500. And that. What else did they promise? That they weren't going to be found out?
Well, I mean, this place, Demand Protest, a San Francisco company that bills itself as the largest private grassroots support organization in the United States, posted identical ads January 12th in multiple cities on Backpage.com seeking operatives. Get paid fighting against Trump, the ads say. We pay people already politically motivated to fight for things they believe. We're going to take action. Anyways, why not do so with us? The ad continues. We're currently seeking operatives to help send a strong message at the upcoming inaugural protest. The job offers a retainer of $2,500 plus our standard per event pay of $50 per hour as long as you participate in at least 6 events a year, as well as health, vision, dental insurance for full-time operatives.
The only thing missing from that is a government subsidy.
Yeah. I'd like to, if for those that are even looking into that, remember that the liberals are liars. So just take that with you.
Yeah, well, that was my thing. We mentioned it yesterday. We were talking about the bikers for Trump are going to show up. They're saying about 5,000. That's what they're estimating. Their estimates. I don't know what the actual number will be any more than I know what the actual number of protesters will be that show up. But
they're not. The protesters are going to be way, way far away. There's going to be a huge buffer because of security reasons.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
Question. Can I ask you a question? How the hell can you be grassroots if you have to pay people to do something?
Well, you're exactly right. There it is. I mean, it's a contradiction. It's not grassroots.
Well, I have the answer to that.
Oh.
Yeah, it can be grassroots if you pay them in cannabis.
Well, no, I know who's behind it.
Oh,
Cheech and Chong.
Russia.
Oh,
Well,
Russia. Oh.
I think we can be pretty well assured that this is at the bottom of all this will be MoveOn.org.
Soros.
Huh?
Who do you think's money is behind this?
Oh yeah, Soros is the money man, but I mean the operatives out there is Obama's people. MoveOn.org and Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers has got his hand in this. I can smell this guy 3,000 miles away. You know, it is. And
yeah, I agree.
We had mentioned yesterday. I was having visions of remember the Rolling Stones concert that was the security was provided by the Hells Angels.
Altamont. Altamont. Yes. Sympathy for the devil. Please let me introduce myself.
Yeah, and lo and behold, I went out there yesterday looking for. You know, I had to post the podcast from yesterday's show, and I had to. I always put an image out there on a couple of the podcast sites. They want me to put an image with the link, and I found this Trump's Angels America. And it's the Hells Angels emblem with Donald Trump's face on it instead of the original.
Great. That's hysterical.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, I hope I'm wrong here. I really hope that this doesn't turn into that. But those of you,
you're not going to find the violence on our side at all.
Yeah. I think these guys. I like the idea that because I imagine the average biker is about 300 pounds, so I can imagine 5,000 of them arm in arm.
Nothing is going to happen. I'm not saying that some would not want to try to start something, but nothing will happen.
Yeah. Well, we're up on the end of our time here, Audrey. Again, I think I probably cut you short a lot today. I'm in a rambling mood today, so
that's okay. We got. You don't want to miss the show. Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch is going to be with us.
Yes.
Comedian Jack Simmons and direct from the UK, Jack Buckby will be with us.
Oh, wow. That sounds like really good. I'm going to have to catch the archive of that. If I can find the internet over in the Philippines, I'll have to catch that. All right, my dear. We'll have you back on next week. You and Joe will be flying together. So,
hey.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
Yes. God bless you guys.
All right. God bless. We'll talk to you later. Okay, guys, we're coming up on the end of the hour here. Next hour, we're supposed to have Don Dix. I just got a note from him, though, that there's an accident out on the freeway, so he's not sure exactly when he's going to pop in, but
That's correct. He said it's down to one lane, which is like, wow, from 19 lanes down to one.
Yeah, that's one thing about California. It's like, I think we're up, pretty close, 20 lanes, I think, now. Some of these freeways have 8 lanes on each side. And, so we'll see if he shows up, But,
so maybe Alan OJ are out in the white Bronco again or something. I don't know.
Well, Californian rush hour, man. That's about as close to hell as you're going to find. So, anyway.
It's always exciting anyway, and Lord knows you don't want to miss your exit.
I'm sorry?
I said it's always fun and exciting, and Lord knows you never want to miss your exit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than be over in the middle lane and trying to get over during rush hour to get off, especially if you happen to get stuck in a carpool lane. It is not an easy transition, okay? All right, he just sent me another note here. Not going to make it, so we'll just continue. It's not as if we can't do the show.
Soldier on.
Anyway, guys, okay, top of the hour here. Edward's Notebook, pay some bills as usual. You know the routine. We'll be back. Stay with us right here.
If a group of black Chicago thugs beat up and torture a white guy who supports Donald Trump, who in their right mind gives a rip if the thugs hated their victim or not? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, the last time I checked, you, myself, and every other American have unalienable rights, which include the right to choose who to support for President of the United States. Our unalienable rights come from God and cannot be obstructed by an abusive government or knuckle-dragging thugs. You have the right to live for your own sake, not according to the will of criminals in or outside of government. It was unbelievable to learn that Chicago law enforcement officials struggled to charge the thugs because they couldn't discern if it was a hate crime.
Hate crime! Hate crime! Hate crime!
Well, who cares? How about assault and battery for starters? The thugs even had a female cheerleader who recorded those imitators of vicious chimpanzees. I don't care if those black thugs hated their white victim or not. Throw the bums in jail for a long, long time and let them sort out how they feel for decades behind bars. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, weighing against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. All right, hey, we're back, and it is hour two right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And yes, we are confirming Donald Dix, Don Dix from Act for America, is stuck out on the 60 freeway out there in Inland Valley, went down to one lane. Car accident, rush hour in California, so he probably won't be on the show today. But that's just better him than me.
Well, I just hope he makes it home sometime tonight safely.
Yeah, he'll be home sometime. Let's see, a little after 4 o'clock out here in the left coast. If he makes it home before 5, he'll be lucky. So, anyway, we got a series of segments here that we're going to go through today. We're going to start off here with one that I find just, like I said comedic relief. Well, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I think we should turn this show into a comedy show. Maybe set it up like The Onion, something like that. Because some of the stuff that comes off of that website seems more realistic than what's actually out there, to some degree. But, fake news is a term that was coined by the leftists as a way of discrediting and undermining, circumventing anything that was coming out of the conservative side of the debate and conversations that are out there all across our great republic here. And it's really funny because just like this election, Donald Trump, he baffled the experts. He overcame all the obstacles in spite of everything that the establishment and the media and the elites and everybody else threw at him. He still managed to get elected because he appealed to I'm going to use the phrase, it's kind of a cliche, but he appealed to the common man. He appealed to the common American who sits at the dinner table day after day listening to this garbage that comes out of the mouths of the people we've elected and the media elites that protect them and speak for them. And he talked the way that we talk, and he hit that nerve. He hit that button, and he moved a large segment of the population into the populist category. And therefore, he won the election, hands down. Now, it's funny, though, that the fake news label that the left tried to use has been turned in a 180-degree direction and is now being used to label the mainstream media. When if you said fake news a year and a half ago, everybody would think Fox News. Just if I can put a well-known brand to it. In fact, a lot of people used to coin the phrase to me on social media, "Oh, you got to quit listening to Fox News." And they would spell it F-A-U-X, which is, I guess, a French word for fake or something. I don't know, pretend or something. Anyway.
It's faux. Yeah, it's like faux. It's like go and occasion. But Fox News, faux news.
Yeah.
It means fake. Yeah, it means exactly fake. But John, now this fake news thing. Now, let's understand something now. And they're going to try to pull this stuff over here. What they're doing in Europe right now is there are full-blown censorship going, and they're calling governments are going to pick what is and what is not real news. And so it is going to be the Ministry of Truth.
Yeah, that's heading. I mean, it's all. I think probably. I don't know. Looking at some of the European publications, like the Daily Mail and some of the things over in Europe, they seem a lot more the BBC News. They're more of a news organization by the true definition of the word. In the sense that, there's a little bit of commentary that comes out, but when I'm out overseas.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, John, is if you're going against the current politicians, the current administration, whatever it is over in those countries, they seem to deem fit, that's fake news, and we're not going to allow it to be out there on the internet, especially on social media. They're not real happy with social media there, and so they're going to censor it.
Yeah, well, we know this. I mentioned it here the other day, and you mentioned it, I believe, a couple weeks ago. This Misinformation Act that Barack Obama signed. Mm-hmm. That they're trying to use this. I think everything's kind of gone into a holding pattern, because with Trump coming in, the net neutrality thing is supposed to go the wayside, and there's even talk that Donald Trump may want to completely abolish the FCC. So I'm not sure if he'll do that, but that's the talk out there. So this Misinformation Act that Barack Obama signed for the purpose of keeping fake news out of the mainstream, being determined by, of course, who else but the central planners of government, along with Zuckerberg and the head of Google, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and let's remember, this isn't just Barack Obama and his friends there in the Democrat Party. This was co-sponsored by Rob Portman, senator from Ohio.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think we want to spend a little bit of time here, because the New York Times, the reason I brought this up here is that the media created this label, fake news, and now the media is trying to do away with the phrase fake news because it's been turned on them. And they're not happy about that at all. And it's just another example of everything since the Trump candidacy that has flown back into their face. Everything that they've tried to do has just backfired and flown back into their face, and has made them basically right now the laughingstock of the entire country. So we're in our short break here, or a long break here, short segment, long break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We're not arguing, we're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break. And they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right. We're back here at the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And this little evolutionary segment that we're having here right now, we were talking just before the break here about the branding of fake news, the label fake news, created by the leftist media. And now what we're finding out is because it's backfired, is flying back into their face, kind of like spitting into the wind kind of thing. And the New York Times, one of the major proponents of fake news, has decided, their editorial people have decided that the term fake news is no longer to be used by the New York Times. I imagine, though, they're issuing this. Or are
they just going to call it what it is? Bullshit?
I guess so. I don't know. But the one thing's for sure. I don't know if this is an edict that is supposed to be grasped by the rest of mainstream media, or is this just something exclusive to the New York Times because they don't like the dirty linen that it brings with it? That kind of thing. But it was all based on Donald Trump calling CNN reporter Jim Acosta fake news.
You're fake news.
Yeah. So anyways, the editor of the New York Times, Dean Baquet, has decided that they're going to ban the term fake news. And I don't know what I mean. I guess the people in New York Times, it's going to be a no-go word. We'll put that right up there with the N-word. Okay, we're not going to use the F word anymore. And when we say the F word now, it means something other than what the F word used to mean. That kind of thing. But here's one of the things I look at when I talk about journalists these days is really their lack of understanding of the English language, their grammar. I've told you many times when I copy and paste articles. And I was making jokes earlier about spell check, but apparently a lot of these editors don't use spell check because I can copy and paste their articles and I can find 3-4 errors, whether it be grammar, grammar sometimes, in terms of expressions and the way they use. The people out there that use Word, that when you have bad grammar, it gives you a green underline. It means you're not saying it properly. And then the red underlines, of course, are misspellings. And I see red lines all the time when I do cut and paste, when I'm taking notes off the internet, putting them on my Word program so that I can better better digest or make it more orderly so that I can find what I want when I want it. One of the things that I noticed in this little piece here with James Bequette, the senior executive editor of the New York Times, is he thinks that fake news is an oxymoron. Now, that word stuck out to me because I use that word a lot here. I use that word a lot.
Military intelligence.
Yeah, I use that word a lot when I'm talking about liberalism because a lot of what they say are oxymorons, okay? Anyways, he says, I never liked the term. It's an oxymoron. I think we should retire the term. It has become shorthand for a whole range of stuff. So I just, we educate on this show. That's what we do. So I looked up the word so that I wouldn't just give you my special brand of bias. I looked up the word oxymoron, and it is defined as a combination of contradictory or incongruous words, something as a concept that is made up of contradictory or incongruous elements. Okay, meaning that you can say something like, for instance, if we say tough love, okay, that really is kind of an oxymoronic phrase because we use it to say that we use that phrase when we say you need to tell people what the truth really is because you love them enough, that kind of thing. But if so I'm thinking, when we talk about,
are you meaning something like jumbo shrimp?
Yeah, jumbo shrimp. There you go. That's a good one. But the point being is that when you use that is a bad. I think that's a bad use of words to describe fake news, because what he's basically saying is that fake and news are completely contradictory of each other, and that's not true.
No, it's not an oxymoron. It's just another term for propaganda.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So when we talk about this kind of stuff, and here's an executive editor, the head guy, the head honcho at the New York Times, he's got a grammar problem. But the point being, that is kind of gets lost in the meaning of what he's trying to say is that fake news has come to define whatever people want it to be. Wow, is that not the very foundation of liberalism?
Mm-hmm.
That everything is relative, that it is whatever you want it to be at any given point in time?
Yeah. If it makes us feel good today and doesn't tomorrow, then tomorrow we're going to be against it.
Yeah. What's moral today is evil tomorrow, and what's evil today is moral tomorrow. There you go. There you go. So anyway, then Seth Meyers, I guess Seth Meyers is, I don't know if you want to call it graduated, but he's gone from Saturday Night Live to, I guess, some kind of NBC late night show.
I don't know.
Boy, they must be scraping the bottom of the barrel. He says that the same thing. Fake news is busted. Well, it's busted because you guys are now being the ones labeled fake news.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's busted about it.
Game, and now they're calling you fake.
Yeah. So yeah, it's busted because it doesn't work the way that you intended it to work. It's thrown back in your face like everything else. See, that's the payback for hypocrisy. That's the one thing about hypocrisy. And I think as human beings, we're all to some degree hypocritical. I mean, that's just because we're fallible. We're human beings. And we have a tendency to be judgmental. I make no apologies for the fact that my political views and my theological views are very biased. Very biased. I don't play objectively when it comes to politics or religion. I play from the slant of what I see and what I perceive. Our lives are...
John, but the thing is, John, you can be consistent with it. You don't go from here to there and do 180s because it feels good the next day.
Yeah, and see,
stay consistent.
The difference between, I believe, views that I hold that are biased and prejudice. I have some prejudices in me about cultures, about other people, the way the things that I've seen. I live in a very diverse community, have lived in diverse communities my entire life. So, yeah, I have my opinions about some of the characteristics and culture traditions and stuff of other cultures, as well as my own. The Irish are not pure. God, we've got Joe Biden and John Kerry out there for crying out loud, so it's not like we're the pure race, the master race of the universe. But the point being is that I can recognize, and I believe I do, I can recognize when I'm being hypocritical. And if somebody calls me on it, and I can look at it and go, hey, yeah, you're right. Now, that may not change my views, but I'm at least willing to acknowledge that, I'm a little hypocritical here. Mm-hmm. Some of my views, you could say they're hypocritical here. I can sit here and espouse to you Christian values all day long and then get pissed off and call somebody an asshat. All right, so, that's hypocritical. I get it. But I also understand that doesn't make it right. Okay, whereas the hypocrisy coming out of the left is that if the end justifies the means, then it is right. And it doesn't make any difference whether it's moral or immoral or justified or unjustified. It accomplishes the purpose for which it was sent. And so therefore, that is the gauge or the measure of whether it's true or not. It does the job, and that's all that matters. And it doesn't matter if the country goes down the septic tank along the way, as long as we get what we want to the point where we feel. And, think about this. Here's a thought that I sometimes ponder. If the liberals got their way and we turn this country into a Marxist socialist hybrid, and we let all the Obamas in the world run the entire program, how much better do you think the world would be? I guarantee you, history proves the world would be a lot worse than it is right now. At least our world would be a lot worse than it is right now.
It's not going to be better because you when you want to make somebody else happy, you're going to make somebody else unhappy doing it.
But when the central motivation for what you're doing is completely self-centered and self-serving, that's what happens. You'll be happy, but everybody else will be miserable. And so then what you have to do is you have to oppress and subject those who are miserable so that you can retain your sense of happiness. See, because what you do is you squelch the individual. When you squelch the individual, you would squelch their identity. You got a bunch of people running around this planet with no identity, looking for an identity, and that's why we have Hollywood, for crying out loud. That's what Hollywood is about. That's where everybody goes to find an identity that they can't relate to. It's where everybody goes to play somebody that they're really not. So, Hollywood is a microcosm of what the world wants you to think is real. But you know what? All these actors and actresses and comedians and celebrities and jocks and musicians, take a look at some of their personal lives. Just a few of them. You wouldn't have to go far. Some very miserable, wealthy people.
Here's a good quote for you that encapsulates exactly what you've just said. In politics, intentions count for nothing. Actions are what matter.
That's right. Exactly. And the ends justify the means. I was just thinking. We got a couple minutes here. We'll burn these minutes here before we get into the second part of this little segment that we're doing here. My wife watches this show on TV called The Doctors. And The Doctors is basically the medical version of Oprah Winfrey. They have a panel of doctors on there, the so-called doctors. One of them is a beautician, the plastic surgeon. Another one, they got the kind of these little specialty areas. Anyway, they have the main host of the show is this young, handsome-looking doctor, 30-something, and the women all croon over this guy. And he comes on the show in his scrubs every day. He's a better-looking Dr. Oz. He's like what Dr. Oz would really love to look like if he could. Anyway, they had on Lamar Odom today. Lamar Odom, who just came out of rehab, I think for the third time or something like that. And they were interviewing him. And, and I feel empathy for the guy. He's gone through his tragedies, and he's been in and out of rehab and everything. Well, we're talking about a man who is a well-known celebrity among the sports icons, championship rings, with the Lakers, major player, married to one of the Kardashian girls, and this guy tried to kill himself. And he's a drug addict and everything else. And it was just so fascinating to watch as he's being interviewed by this doctor, how the audience was just swooning over him because he has overcome his addiction. And everybody, this teary, misty-eyed people in the audience and everything else. And I'm thinking, this is the epitome of what it's all about. Here's a miserable human being being applauded because of the fact that he at least acknowledged that he's a miserable human being. Now, I hope the guy puts his life together. I don't wish ill on anybody like that. But it does exemplify that you can have it all and actually have nothing. And that's what liberals really represent. An imaginary everything that really gives you absolutely nothing. So we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Expand your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, certainty, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Okay, hey, we're back. And this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And let's get back to our little segment here. I want to go from talking here about the what were we talking about the last segment? About the label of fake news and how the leftist media now is trying to eliminate it from the dialogue, from the conversations, and from the debates that are out there right now, because of the fact that it's blown back in their face. They have now been exposed as the source of fake news. Not that people like us haven't known that for a while, but at least it's coming out into the mainstream. The people normally, maybe some of them are questioning 30-second headlines, the 2-minute bits on topics, in contrast to the 10-minute segments on the latest Bruce Springsteen tweet rant, that kind of stuff. So, fake news, and the left is trying to eliminate that term now. I guess pretty down the line here, someplace it'll probably get blamed on the Russians.
Well, no. It's the Republicans' fault, or Donald Trump, or even George Bush.
Yeah. Did you hear the other day that Michelle Obama actually had the audacity to come out and state that? No, it was Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry. Came out and state that all the economic problems of the last 8.5 years are the fault of George Bush.
Yep.
Man, there's fake news.
Yep.
There's fake news for you. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And I don't know why I'm looking this guy up more, but David Horowitz there's another quote that we can actually talk, and this fits well in the fake news portion of this. Here's a quote from Mr. Horowitz. Inside many liberals is a totalitarian screaming to get out. Have another point of view in the room that they don't squash, and the way they try to squash it is by character assassination and name calling.
Yep. Yeah. Typical Alinsky. Those of you in our audience who have never read Rules for Radicals, you really should. It's a short read. You can read it to a couple trips to the bathroom. You can read this book, and just don't use it in place of your toilet paper. But the point being is that this is not a hard read, and yet it'll explain to you so much as to how the left operates. Their strategies, their tactics, it's all there. Everything. There's nothing. I haven't seen anything that these people do that I can't look up one of the, I believe there's 11 rules for radicals. It might be 13. I think there's 11. And at least 11 that I'm constantly looking at. And you can just there it is. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's not hard. Liberalism is not rocket science. It's all keyed on emotions. It's all trying to recruit the true believer into whatever movement it is they want for the purpose of centralizing control and convincing the masses that, a few people know what's best for the rest of the world. That's what it's all about. And it's all about power. Don't ever think that it's not. It's not about compassion. Compassion is just a tool to use to garner power or to maintain power or to delegate power. That's all it's about. But I want to move on to this because this is, to me, the comedic relief that we're seeing right now or hearing right now. I'm trying to understand how a man who won this election with 306 electoral votes, 304 that actually ended up casting ballots for him, to a candidate who had, I believe, 242 or something like that, who only carried a minimal amount of districts in the entire election, won the popular vote with the help of 2 states out of 50, and yet this man hasn't entered into office yet.
Yes.
And is the most unpopular president since Franklin Pierce, for crying out loud. It's amazing to me how the media is out there trying to paint this guy. As he steps into office, he is the most unpopular president we've ever had in our lifetime.
He hasn't even taken office. He's not even president.
Yeah. Now, we've got some polls here for you because that's what we're going to talk about here. We told you before the election not to pay attention to the polls. We covered with you how the WikiLeaks, John Podesta and his people use the polls, how they skew the polls, how they collude with the media to make the polls say what they want.
Yeah.
Remember that one debate, the last debate, Hillary Clinton picks up 10 points in 24 hours in the polls? And we showed you and demonstrated to you how they came up with that number. So Gallup comes out this week with a poll that 51% disapprove of Donald Trump. By contrast, 83% approved President Barack Obama when he transitioned in 2008. But Donald Trump is at just 44% of Americans approve of his presidential transition, while 51% disapprove. Now you think, well, how can that be? How can it be that the man just won? He hasn't stepped into office yet. How can he have a disapproval rating like this? Well, what you have to do, and what we've told you on this show, what you need to do when you look at polls, you need to look at the poll. You don't look at what the media is telling you the poll says. You look at the poll. And the best way to determine how the poll is set up is to look at their methods. They explain to you how they came up with the results they got. Well, that's not what you're going to, but that's not what you're going to hear reported by those talking heads that you see for 30 seconds talking about it. Right. They're going to tell you what they want you to know, what they want you to believe the poll is saying. And the poll, the way that it's written in a lot of cases, will collaborate and confirm what they're saying. Okay, so 44% of Americans approve, 51% disapprove. By contrast, 83% approved President Barack Obama because, after all, he was the half white hope. Okay, he was the guy that was going to unify. He was going to tear down the walls of racism. He was going to unify the country because he was a clean slate. But let me tell you how Gallup came to these numbers. This is what you need to understand here. I'm reading you verbatim survey methods. Results for this Gallup poll are based on telephone interviews conducted January 4th through 8th, 2017, with a random sample of 1,032 adults. Now, we've explained to you the difference between adults, registered voters, and likely voters. Adults mean they called up 1,032 people with phone numbers. Okay? Aged 18 and older, living in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. So they called randomly 1,032 adults based on cell phone numbers and landline numbers using random digit dial methods. So we don't know if 500 of these people were 18-year-olds, millennials that wanted Bernie Sanders. We don't know who they are. They're not identified by party affiliation because that's not what the poll was asking. The poll was asking 1,032 random adults.
Yeah.
No classification as to where they stood politically. Okay? They say here the margin of sampling error is plus minus 4 percentage points at the 95% confidence level. Okay? All reported margins of sampling error include computed design effects for weighting. All right. Now, it includes a minimum quota of 70% cell phones and 30% landline respondents. And you know why that is? Because younger kids carry cell phones. Older people carry landlines. And so the 70-30 split means they're pretty much going to get the younger crowd than they are the older crowd. But the point being that the main emphasis here is 1,032 random adults. We don't know if they are registered to vote. We don't know if they're likely voters. We don't know if they've ever voted or if they ever will vote. It's just we called up 1,032 people between the ages of 18 and older and determined that 44% of these people like Trump and 51% don't. And so that's how they come out with the numbers. All right? It says here that they're talking about approval ratings in terms of his job. He hasn't taken the job yet. And they're already trying to determine what his approval rating is for his job. Well, yeah, you're gonna lose in that battle when you've got somebody who's been sitting in the White House for 8 years doing a job, a terrible job, but doing a job, and somebody who's never done the job before. And is that gonna be your measure? That's gonna be your gauge? Okay, so what? Joe's got two more polls that just came out today. So you want to go to break first, Joe, and then we'll take those?
Yeah, sure. Let's go to a break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about these other polls that are here. And it's pretty much the same stuff. But, yeah, let's talk about these ones, too, because it's different organizations.
Yeah, we need to know. You need to know across the board what's going on here. We'll be right back. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakels. And I'm going to turn the con right over to Joe here so we can get these other polls covered as we come up on the closing segments of the show here. Go ahead, Joe, you got the con.
All righty. So this is from Tyler Durden at Zero Hedge, and he's talking about this new poll from ABC Washington Post, and it shows a drop in Trump's favorability. But, of course, it's courtesy of an aggressive oversample. And basically, Mr. Durden goes, in the month leading up to the election on November 8th, remember we talked about them too, how they were oversampling the Democrats in these polls. ABC, Washington Post, CNN's, Reuters repeatedly manipulated their poll samples to engineer their desired results, mainly to get a large Hillary Clinton lead, right? And in fact, just 16 days prior to the election, the ABC Washington Post poll showed a 12-point lead for Hillary Clinton. And we know what happened on November 8th. That 12-point lead wasn't true. Well, now wasn't, since Mr. Trump trounced her horribly, if you were Hillary Clinton, so bad that she couldn't even come out and say goodnight to her supporters. All right? But hey, has ABC and Washington Post learned anything from their misdeeds? No. Proving they still got an ABC, Washington Post, and CNN are out with a pair of polls on Trump's favorability today. That sports some egregious oversamples they've seen. The Washington Post ABC poll shows an 8-point sampling margin for Democrats, with only 23% of results taken from Republicans. In other words, that's 31% Democrats, 23% Republicans. That's who they sampled. They sampled 8% more Democrats than Republicans. They also sampled 37% independents in the same poll.
Yeah, and there you've got that split. You've got that split leaning heavy into the independents, which a lot of them are socially liberal and fiscally conservative.
Yeah, so if you ask the right question, you're going to get the desired outcomes.
Right.
Yeah, while CNN showed a similar 8-point advantage for the Democrats with only a 24% for Republicans. And these were a total of 1,000 adults were interviewed by telephone nationwide by live interviewers calling both landline and cell phones. Among you sample 32% per side, blah, 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 and it doesn't give you some margin of error. So obviously, as they point out before, the mixes could not be further from reality. When you got that going on, and this is why you take a look at the method they're using with their obvious bias, and you're going to get the results that you want. ABC latched on the conclusion that Trump is just being super mean to the media, where ABC News Politics goes, 57% of Americans see Donald Trump's treatment of the news media unfair. An ABC News Washington Post poll. Yeah, I mean, really? And there I go. And here's one of the questions. All in all, do you think Trump is treating the news media fairly or unfairly? Treated fairly, 38%. Treated unfairly, 57%. Well, if they oversampled Democrats, of course they're going to say that, even though they found the media was treating him fairly. All in all, do you think the news media is treating Donald Trump fairly or unfairly? Treating Donald Trump fairly, 49%. Treating him unfairly, 47%.
Yeah, well,
here's the one that really gets me.
Okay.
ABC Washington Post found that President-elect Trump is the least popular candidate to take the White House in modern history, with a 40% approval rating. 40% favorable, 54% unfavorable, while Barack Obama had a 79% favorable. George W. Bush had a 62% favorable. Bill Clinton had a 68. H.W. Bush, 65. Ronald Reagan, 58. Jimmy Carter, 78. Oh, my goodness. Donald Trump, I'm surprised he's on. Maybe we should just call the whole thing off.
Well, and again, you need to note here, all of this poll, I'm looking at the method here, and all of them, 1,005 adults. That means no, they don't know. We don't know if these people were registered voters, if they voted, if they're likely voters. The polls are always truer when you get into polling voters or likely voters, which means they have a history of voting, and you can verify that. But this is just random adults. This is just going out,
and they pick the other polls that they like the 2009, 1993, 1989, 2001 Gallup, CNN, USA Today, and then they picked a NBC Associated Press poll and a 1977 Cambridge Research Cambridge Reports Research International poll. I mean, they're going to pick out the polls that show the best numbers that they want to cover their little narrative here. And I love the same thing that they do for the Trump's transition. Do you like Trump's picks? No. Do you like Obama's prints? Yes. And then they go, well, Trump's party doesn't even like them. Well, when you only pick so many Republicans anyway, you're not going to have a very good. The polls numbers are skewed, as again we reported before. So they haven't learned anything. We're going to see. I don't know if they're ever going to learn anything.
Well, you can really gauge. I was looking at my article here on the Gallup poll, and this is how you can really tell. We're telling you these polls have been skewed, as all polls are skewed, because the media is still trying to get Trump to fit within their template of how they want to report him and how they want him to respond to those reports.
Yeah. So how did Donald Trump respond? He tweeted out, the same people who did the phony election polls and were so wrong are now doing approval ratings polls. They are rigged just like before.
Yeah, now let me give you a little bit of information here. I'm digging in a little deeper into the Gallup poll, so you can, by explaining this to you, you'll be able to understand why we say what we say. That when you poll random adults versus likely voters or registered voters, you get a different take on what's going on here. Okay, a new poll conducted by Politico and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, whatever the hell that is, found that the top 3 priorities for Trump voters are repealing and replacing Obamacare. 85% of Trump supporters want to repeal and replace Obamacare. Okay? I'm for repealing, not replacing, but that's another story. Stopping future illegal immigration. 78% of the Trump supporters believe that should be a priority. And major increases in defense spending. 67% of Trump supporters believe we should increase defense spending. Now, the general public. The numbers are much lower for the general public. The general public being, of course, this 1,052 random adults that they polled. Okay? So, and then when Joe's talking about the skewing here, 31% Democrats, 23% Republicans, 37% independents. See, the sampling is also off. But anyway, general public, just 44% say repealing and replacing Obamacare is a priority. 38% say immigration. And 43% say increased defense spending. So if you're out there just talking to the average person who probably doesn't know anything other than what they see on YouTube, those are the numbers you're going to get. The most popular priority for the general public at 49% is major government spending on infrastructure. All right? So tell me who they're talking to. Tell me, who are they talking to? If you got 49% of the people they're polling here agree that the government needs to get bigger.
I know who they're talking to. They're talking to the same people that Jonathan Gruber talked about.
Yeah. All right. And only 50% of the infrastructure. 50% of Trump voters say that infrastructure is not that big of a deal. Now we know that the infrastructure in Trump's mind is a big deal. So I don't know what he's going to do with that. But what we're laying out for you here is how these polls. Who is actually chosen? You tell me 1,052 random adults? No, I bet you it was 1,052 random adults, and I bet you they probably called 3,000 to get that 1,052 that fit the numbers they wanted. That's how this thing works.
Yeah.
Because if you can sit there and tell me that you know that 85% of Trump supporters want to repeal and replace Obamacare, but only 44% of the general public wants to do that, I'm telling you somebody's looking at the results and saying, we don't like that. Let's cut it down. Let's hack this one off. Let's knock this down. Let's get this within some type of margin of error that we can report to get the results that we want.
Exactly. When you had 304 electoral college votes go to the guy.
Yeah. 304 electoral votes end up in his column, and you're going to tell me that he's still the most unpopular guy ever elected? Give me a freaking break. You know, that would probably be George W. Bush if we're going to go by electoral count, because he didn't win by that much. All right, so let's just put things in the proper columns here. All right, we're coming up at the end of the show, guys.
Yep.
I'll be gone for a couple of weeks here. Joe will be taking over the show, and he'll probably do a much better job than me because he stays on topic much better than I do. But it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be asking people while I'm over in the Philippines what they think about what's going on over here right now, and see if the mood has changed since the last time I was over there. I was over there about 3 years ago, I believe it was, and the general consensus was Obama was not a great guy.
Well, you have to shoot me an email, let me know so I can report it to our friends.
Yeah, so we're going to see what's happening. There's some stuff going on over there with Rodrigo Duterte, too. So I'll have something to report to you when we come back on that. Anyway, just be safe, guys. And my wife and I wish you all the best. We'll be back end of January, early part of February, first week of February at the latest, 2 or 3 days into February. God bless you. We love you. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.